afternoon, good evening. We're back. We're talking college football playoff. Georgia, Ohio State playing in the Peach Bowl December 31st, New Year's Eve Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get right into this thing, okay? Ohio State sneaks in at the 4 spot. We all know what they did in the 4 spot, I believe in 2014 with Zeke Elliott and that Cardell Jones 12 gauge where they took over and won the national title. Storylines in this game. The first thing I want to talk about, the tradition, the fan bases. All right. Georgia's 10th all-time in wins. Ohio State's 2nd all-time in wins. These fan bases are going to travel well. It's going to be a lot of red in that stadium. It's going to be jam-packed. It's going to be loud. STC, Big Ten, best of the best. We got it right here. So let's talk about Ohio State a little bit. They get in as a 4 seed. They lose horribly at home to Michigan. It hasn't happened in 22 years. That was a shock for a lot of people, but Michigan fans, not for them. They expected to win that game, and Jim Harbaugh and those guys battled, and they played well, and they absolutely kicked their ass. They kicked their ass in Columbus, which is enough said. Michigan's a top team in this playoff, and I believe that they could be the one. I think Georgia and Michigan are right there at the top. So that being said, Ohio State did get in after losing to Michigan. All right. A lot of talks about if Alabama could get in over TCU or Ohio State. Nick Saban's big argument for them being in is who would be favored in the game, Alabama or TCU, and everybody knows it would be Alabama. So if they're trying to put the best teams in, like Nick Saban said, they should have put Bama in. But TCU's resume, the way they've been doing it over the years, there's a reason TCU's in. They went 12-1, lost in OT. In the Big 12 championship to Kansas State. By the way, 2-3 in that game in my picks. I had first half under, hit, first half TCU cover, hit. But then what I said late in the game would be TCU pulls away slowly, but they could have still covered that 2.5, which I also had in that game, but Kansas State willed it out and took over at the end. But let's get back to Georgia, Ohio State. I think some key matchups in this game is Malik Starks covering Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's going to be a great matchup to watch throughout this game. It's going to be physical. Marvin Harrison Jr. has come out and exploded this year. At least a top 5 pick next year. One of the best receivers I've seen in college football in a very, very, very long time. He's got the length. He's got the catch radius. He's got the speed. He's a top guy for sure. But not to say that Georgia's defense can't stop him, because they have Jalen Carter, okay, on the defensive line, as you guys saw last week, picking up LSU's quarterback, one hand, fist in the air, says, I'm the guy. I'm the guy, all right? For the Bears fans, okay, that's a guy we want to be looking out for in this upcoming draft. I digress. Ohio State, 6th nationally ranked offense in college football. Georgia, 9th ranked defense. Something's got to give in this game. In my opinion, I say my dad always taught me defense wins championships, and I see that being the case here. Defense in the trenches. Who's going to win this game? If Ohio State cannot run the football on this defensive line, they are not going to win this game. If they can establish the run, it'll allow C.J. Stroud to move and run the play action and get guys open down the field, give him some time to throw the football. Michigan did a great job at containing him and not letting him get out of the pocket and smothering him when it counted, when it mattered. Stetson Bennett versus C.J. Stroud. Stetson Bennett's still underrated for some reason. The guy just wins. He's an 85-year quarterback. He's like 30 years old, but it doesn't matter. He can be one of the top, I think, 5 quarterbacks ever to win 2 back-to-back national championships. And he just wins. Okay, he's a winner. I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback by any means, but he's a winner. He gets the job done. He should be definitely considered for the Heisman Trophy, in my opinion. That's just if they're picking the guys that are the Heisman Trophy is the most valuable player. I don't know what they would be without Stetson Bennett. He does exactly what they need to do. He's a game manager. He gets the ball to his playmakers. They have designed an offense for him to be good in that offense. He doesn't have to do much, but when he does, he can throw the deep ball. He can hit guys, and he can win games and run a 2-minute drive at the end of the game. He's proven to do that. C.J. Stroud also, horrible game against Michigan. I think I don't know. I think the game just got to him. I mean, the Big Ten. There's a lot of downs in that. There's a lot of down teams in that league. You get to sit back in the pocket against Rutgers and um, teams of that nature. But I think if they can keep C.J. Stroud upright, I think he's got a chance. If that defensive line just takes over, like I said, they can't run the ball. It's gonna be a long day for Ohio State. Game lines in this game, we got +4.5, -4.5 in the first half. I like Georgia to cover that -4 in the first half. I think it's going to be a tight first half, but I think maybe by a touchdown in the first half. And the over under 61, that one, that's a tough play for me. I'm not going to touch that, but we'll go -4 in the first half for Georgia. Maybe throw an in-game live bet there after the second half has started. Another key thing to look out for is Jackson Smith and Jigba going to play? He's like a 50-50 chance right now. Does he not play because of the draft? Does he not play because of injury? Personally, I think he doesn't have a lot on his resume this year to get the money he needs in the draft. He's still going to get drafted. He's still a top-end wide receiver. There's no doubt about that. But I think for him to get where he wants to be, I think showing out in this game will show a lot of scouts, okay, he's still got it despite the 2 injuries with the hamstring and that explosive hit he took the first game of the year against ND. And last thing I want to talk about is the Blue Bloods. Like I said, the traditions of these two schools. I think it's going to be an awesome matchup. I think Georgia does pull this one off. I think watching that Ohio State-Michigan game, it's not the same with the 4 seed they had last time with Zeke and those guys and that defense they had in 2014. I think Georgia takes over this game late. I think it's going to be a battle in the trenches, and I think that's always won when you could get the 3-4 yards of play running the football. You just wear the defense out, and I think that's going to happen in this game. Don't be surprised if Ohio State comes back and wins. My pick is Georgia to cover in the first half, but I wouldn't be afraid to sprinkle a money line bet on Ohio State at +225 right now. Just a small play because it is still Ohio State. They've been in a ton of big games. Those guys know how to play in big games. They know how to coach in big games, playoff games especially. And who wouldn't want to see an Ohio State-Michigan national championship? I don't know anybody on the planet that wouldn't want to watch that game. It probably would be the most watched game in college football history. That's what I'm looking forward to if Ohio State could pull it off. If not, like I said, I really, in my heart of hearts, think Georgia's going to pull this off. And in a close game, I think the line's 6.5 in the game. I think 6 to 7 is a good enough line. I think maybe I am, as I'm thinking about it, as I'm talking about it, I'm thinking the over. I'm leaning over as I'm talking about it, but I'm not going to place anything yet. I'm just giving you guys what I got as a lock right now. I got the -4 in the first half and sprinkle maybe a money line on Ohio State. But I'm excited. New Year's Eve, the college playoffs here. We're getting into winter. A lot more bowl games are coming. Stay tuned. Be ready. Okay, I'm coming with new stuff, new content, new games, and that's that. We got a 1 versus 4 college football playoff. Stay tuned.